Hi guys, it's me Chazza HD and welcome to the first proper car reveal of the F1 2022 season. And it is of course the car that last season allowed Max Verstappen to win his first World Championship, and it is the Red Bull, and here it is, the 2022 Red Bull car. And I have to say, it does look an absolute beauty. And this car, of course, different to the Haas car, which I'll show later on. It wasn't really a car reveal, it was a livery reveal, and even the livery reveal, I have to be honest, was quite disappointing. But this is the first, in the flesh car reveal, which is what really matters, is when they actually show the car in the flesh. And here you can see it, and like I said, I think it looks very, very nice. Of course, you can see there the number one. Max Verstappen going to be bringing the number one number back to Formula 1. The last driver to run number one was, of course, Sebastian Vettel in 2014. When did Vettel run in 2014? I can't remember, but I think he did. Because of course Vettel was world champion back in 2013, and I think 2014 was the first year that whole year allowed to decide what your car number is. That's when, of course, it came about back in 2014. So it is great to see the number one back, and also, I have to say, a bit of a surprise. I mean, they have Red Bull, of course, on the front wing there. We'll move on to a couple of different pictures in a moment. It is a bit of a surprise that on the side pod they don't have the Red Bull name anymore, because, of course, it's been such a feature of so many Red Bull cars that they have the Red Bull name plastered all over the side. But now it's Oracle, who are now, I think, the main sponsor pretty much of the Red Bull team, or one of the main sponsors, along with Tag Heuer, of course. So, interesting to see there in terms of the livery, but it is a very, very nice looking car, I have to say. I'll just move on to this picture, which is slightly closer. You can probably see the car a bit better here. I'd say the most interesting part to me in terms of the aerodynamic parts, I guess you could say, is probably around the wheels and the wheel rims. You can definitely see there the differences from, of course, last year to this year in these new cars. So, yeah, very interesting to see the design, and it will be interesting to see, of course, when we get to the Aston Martin car reveal, which, of course, is tomorrow afternoon. McLaren one on Friday, and then, of course, Mercedes and Ferrari are doing theirs next week. Be interesting to see the differences in design just from what we see from the car reveal. Of course, they're not going to reveal all of the interesting parts that really make the car go quick in the car reveal. They'll show that when we get to the only real pre-season test of the 2022 season, which, of course, is in Bahrain. There is a shakedown in Barcelona later this month, but it's not really a pre-season test. It's just really a chance for the teams to do some good running for reliability. So don't expect to see, like I said, too many interesting parts. But I think this car, when I first saw it, of course, when they did the live stream on their own channel, I have to say as well, these car reveals these days, they take way, way too long to actually get to the part that we're interested in. I mean, of course, there is interest to a certain extent in hearing from the drivers, team boss, all of that. But at the end of the day, we're all there to see the new car. We're not there to hear, PR nonsense, basically, for half an hour, which is basically what we got. So, yeah, I have to say, it's very boring watching car reveals these days. Used to be, even just a few years ago, most teams would, just reveal the car. But nowadays, it's almost like you just sat there wondering, are they going to reveal it? So, yeah, frustrating there. But, yeah, what I was going to say was, when we first saw it on the stream, the Red Bull Racing stream, of course, they streamed their own car reveal, thankfully. It already, to me, as soon as I saw it, it just looked really, really nice. It has a really nice shape to it, and I have to say, and I guess you could probably see it better if I go back to this angle. the Oracle logo, it does look very nice on the side pod. I'm not saying, when I was making the point earlier, that of course Red Bull now don't have their name plastered on the side pod. Of course they have their logos, which of course they're going to have. Even though I made that point, I'm not saying it as a criticism, I'm saying it as, just a point of fact. But it does actually look really nice, the Oracle logo there on the side pod. And then we'll move back to this picture, which I think shows the car in terms of its certain pieces, aerodynamic pieces in a bit more interest. And yeah, it is a very good looking car. I'd say the main parts of interest in terms of the bodywork and all of that, you'd have to center it probably around the front end, of course, the front wing and the wheel rim. We'll move on to this picture, which is, I think, a picture of the car with the Sergio Perez's number there, and you can probably see in better detail the underneath of the car, or the bits that are more hidden away. And yeah, it does look pretty nice. I will say though, I'll just make a couple points with the Red Bull car as we go back to this picture. And I will also say, you guys may know this already, but I am not the biggest nerd when it comes to the technicality of these cars in general. So if I do miss something that's pretty obvious, that is something of interest, I do apologize, but I'm not the most intelligent in the, like I said, technical areas when it comes to Formula 1 cars. But to me, the front wing does actually look a bit different. It's a bit more curved, the end plates. It looks a bit more, it doesn't look, the basic models that, for example, we saw last year, or even with the Haas, I guess, 3D livery reveal, which it was. This looks a bit different, the front wing there. And then when it comes to the wheels, the wheel rim, you can see definitely, differences between that Haas one. Again, with the Haas one, we'll get onto that in a moment, because I do want to quickly talk about it, because the Haas car reveal, which was actually quite funny, which we'll get onto soon. They didn't really, on that reveal, show too much of interest, but the Red Bull one, of course, because it's in the flesh, it is a bit more interesting. But I'll just go back to this picture and go back to showing some of these pictures, and also I will try quickly and get some new pictures of the car up, because in the past few minutes, of course, of me streaming, there should be hopefully some new pictures. So let me just quickly have a look for you guys for some new pictures, for some new angles, because of course I tried to just get 2 or 3 pictures together as quick as I could, so I could get the stream started as soon as possible. And see if I can find anything. Not sure if these are actually the Red Bull car. I'll have to probably wait. But for anyone who has just joined, quickly, have a quick check again. Any pictures I can show? No, not quite yet. Yeah, just I'll re-show the pictures quickly so you guys can see. So there's the, I guess, the main one, and again, Oracle logo on the side. That is quite a big difference livery-wise to the Red Bull of the past, and I think it looks pretty nice. And as well, when looking at this car, I mean, the cars are heavier this year. I don't know if you guys can see it in terms of the middle to the rear of the car, but you can, to me, you can almost see that it's bigger and heavier. It just looks to me bigger and heavier than last year's car. So, yeah, don't know if you guys noticed that, but that's what I noticed. And then, yeah, here's a closer angle, more of a over-the-top angle that's from the same angle. And yeah, you can see it there. Again, great to see the number 1 back on the car. Hopefully it won't be a curse for Max Verstappen, running the number 1 instead of course, his number that he's been running since he joined Formula 1 in 2015, which is number 33. I was going to say 44 then, but obviously not him. And then here is a front angle. From this front angle, you can't really see as much of what the Red Bull car actually has in terms of what's on it as you can from this angle. But yeah, there's the front-facing view. And just read a couple comments in chat quickly. Someone saying, honestly, doesn't look that great, but that will also apply to all teams. I think the problem with car reveals these days is the teams, because it's all about keeping it as secret as possible until the last possible moment in terms of certain aerodynamic bits on the car that people notice and are like, oh, what's that? Such as, or just any type of new technical pieces that could lead to a faster car. Of course, the teams nowadays are so keen to keep that hidden until the last possible moment, until they actually have to, use it and show it, I guess. What ends up happening because of that is we get to these car reveals, and it's basically just, the Red Bull car, of course, it's an in-the-flesh reveal, but it's basically just a concept car in real life, and that's a problem. You can't really force the teams to show their real car that they're going to have in testing or at the first Grand Prix, because, of course, they'll develop it over the course of testing and it going into the first Grand Prix as well. I think even McLaren, I heard a couple of weeks ago, were already talking about they've already got a development package planned for the first Grand Prix. So they're already, planning ahead on that. So because of all that, this is what you're going to get. You're going to get these cars not really looking that much different except for the livery, because they're desperate to hide stuff from one another. Which, to be honest, I can see why they do it. Especially if it's a part of the car that it really, really could help to to make the car very, very quick. If it's a certain part like that, I can completely understand why the teams would want to keep that hidden for as long as possible. But even the teams in testing do this, where they try not to put on the parts until the last possible moment. To me, it doesn't really matter, because at the end of the day, if you're slow, you're slow. If you're fast, you're fast. You're not gonna just suddenly, turn it on just because you then put on the proper parts, that you're going to have on for the season. Maybe you'll be quicker if you're a slow team, but it's not going to make really a difference, because at the end of the day, if you are fundamentally slow or fundamentally quick, then it doesn't really matter that much. But of course, at the car reveal stage, this stage of the season, I can completely understand it. But I'll quickly just go back through the 3 pictures. So here you go. That's one picture. Here is probably the main view that you'll see online. There is the front-facing angle of the Red Bull car with the driver number. I've just noticed it's not actually number 11. I think it's just the antenna that's cutting the number 1 in half. So it's not the number 11. But there is, I'm sure, a version of this car with Sergio Perez's driver number on the car, rather than Max Verstappen's new driver number, of course, number 1. Right, just looking, there are a couple more new pictures. Let me just get those up on stream. This one is a rear-facing shot. So let me just get this up properly. And so, again, the Oracle logo, I have to say, does look pretty nice. Of course, there is no officially Honda I think, logos on the car, but they pretty much are still working with the Red Bull team when it comes to the power unit side going forward, because the boss of the Honda F1 side, I can't remember his name, but, you know, for the last few years, the guy's been the boss of it, has joined Red Bull, I think, as a consultant, which pretty much tells you all you need to know about that. But yeah, I'll just push this up as well. And you can see there the rear end and the packaging there. Yeah, nice shot of the Red Bull car. And let's see if I can find one more. Probably this. I think this is actually from the car reveal event. So let me just put this on screen as well. Make sure though, guys, to keep your comments in chat coming in regards, if I can speak English, to the car. If you notice anything about it aerodynamically, you know, is there any new parts on it you can see that are catching your interest? Let me know. Yeah, I'll just pull that up and you can see the Red Bull car there. It does also, this Red Bull in this light, have an interesting, I don't know, it's kind of a purpley blue, the livery in the light there. It almost reminds me of that like purpley blue that the 2013 Red Bull had when, of course, Infinity were the sponsors. I think that's what caused that. So, yeah, it's interesting to see that in this light. It does look a bit purpley. Not massively, you know, purpley, but, yeah, got a bit more of that look to it that 2013 Red Bull had back in the day. But, yeah, I'll just quickly let you guys have a look at that. And again, I will just go through the pictures in just a moment, just to show anyone who's just joined the Red Bull car for 2022. Just making sure first there's no more pictures. No, not for the moment. So let's now go through these pictures. So there you go. That's from the car reveal event. Here's a rear-facing shot. And then here is the car in its full glory, and hopefully for Max Verstappen, and hopefully from his point of view, it will be a glorious car. There's the, I guess, main shot. Again, interesting to look at the wheel rim area, which for me is probably the most interesting area to look at with these new cars from the outer view. Then we move on to this one. And then this is, of course, the front-facing angle of the new Red Bull car. And I'll just leave it on that, and I'll just read out some comments from you guys in chat. Again, make sure to keep your comments coming, and I'll read out as many as I can. Brooksfoot, great to see you, mate, says, Max did mention that the visibility isn't as good as last year. Driver eyes at same height, but the wheels are larger. Yeah, I mean, it won't be obviously a massive hindrance to, you know, the drivers. I'm sure they'll get used to it after a few laps of these cars, but you can definitely tell when you look at the tyres that they are definitely bigger than the previous year's tyres. They look, yeah, much bigger. Even though it's I think it was a 5-inch difference in the size, it does look much bigger when you actually see them. I mean, we saw them at the post-season test in Abu Dhabi, and yeah, you can definitely tell the difference. Mika saying, oh no, just responding to someone else. Paul says it looks like an arrow, and you presume it has a good weight distribution, so these new cars should handle extremely well. Well, these cars, the downforce really that will be generated from these cars are from the underneath of the car. These cars are basically a return to the ground effect era that we had from, what was it, 1976, 77 until like 1981, 1982. I think maybe 1982 was the final year of ground effect. I mean, if you go watch those cars, even though they're, you know, much slower still, you know, in terms of lap time, if you watch them compared to each other, they did have absolutely amazing grip, those cars from back then. I think even if you go watch that classic battle between Villeneuve and Arnoux at the 1979, I think it was, French Grand Prix, you can tell when you watch that even though they're much older cars, they did have absolutely amazing grip. And I think there was also another race that I watched a few years ago, and I think it was from Argentina, and you could really tell with the ground effect how quick the cars aerodynamically were around that track. And it was, I think, a bit of a fast track, the Argentina track back then. So with these cars, of course, with modern tech and that, it's going to be naturally quicker. These cars, they are going to be, when you see them on track, they are going to be stunningly quick. They really, really are. And I think, given if you look at the power units, really all of the power units, they're close enough to each other that they are, there's not a massive difference really between the three separate engine manufacturers, even though Red Bull and AlphaTauri are going to be using, I guess, a year-old power unit, but, up to current standard, it is, I guess you could say, technically 4 engine suppliers. There's not, like I said, there's not really a massive difference between the 4. So basically this year, and I hope this is the case, by the way, because this has probably been the biggest, it's probably one of my biggest criticisms of the era from 2014 to 2021, is with the differences we had in power units for a long time, it made things quite uncompetitive for a long time during that era, because certain engine manufacturers had a massive advantage over others. When back in between 2009 and 2013, when really it was an aero formula, even though of course Red Bull did win 4 championships in a row from 2010 to 2013, in a couple of those seasons it was really close, and then in a couple others, in 2009, of course, the first year of those regs, it was an amazingly close season, with plenty of teams on the podium. Almost every team, I think maybe was it every team on the podium in 2009, maybe except one. I think Toro Rosso, I don't think they got on the podium in 2009, but I think everyone else did. So what I'm hoping is that, because, like I said, the power unit differences now in power is not really that big. Maybe in terms of lap time, 2 to 3 tenths of a second at the absolute most. Thankfully, they've come closer together, all the different engines. What I'm hoping is, with this new set of regs, we'll go back to the days of, like I said, between 2009 and 2013, where it was an aero formula, because back then it was undoubtedly more exciting, and it felt like we had more of a chance of seeing more than just 1 or 2 teams fighting for victory. It was more, at times, in certain races, certain seasons, you could get 3 teams, or even 4, maybe even 5. It would be great if, because of it possibly being an aero formula from now on, and I think we do have also an engine freeze coming in a couple years' time, or maybe a year's time. I can't remember exactly when that might be. I think it could make things a lot more competitive. Even if the pecking order doesn't necessarily change that much, you could have Mercedes, Red Bull up there somewhere, but also McLaren, Ferrari, or maybe an Aston Martin up there, an Alpine. Not just the one team up there or the 2 teams. Because back in, like I said, between 2014 and 2021, even though with the 2017 regs, aero became more important, it was still mostly about how much power, you could get out of the power unit. You had to still have that as the core, fundamental part of, if you were going to be quick. So hopefully it will, like I said, just be back to an aero formula this season, and not just for the course, but for the next few. It'll probably make things a bit closer. Mika says, looks like they're hiding quite a lot. Hello F1, great to have you back, Shazza. Greetings from Arizona. Great to see you in chat. Yeah, I think I'll just quickly go back through the pictures, and there you go. That's from the car reveal event. Rear facing shot, main shot, I guess you could say, a bit closer from higher angle, and then the front view there. But I just want to get into a couple other things before I finish the video. This is the Haas livery reveal. It was basically just nothing, really. The reason I didn't stream for it is because I knew that it wouldn't be an in-the-flesh car reveal, because Haas have rarely done one. I think the only one they did that I can remember that I actually covered as well was back in 2019, when, of course, Rich Energy were their sponsors in an infamous 2019 season for the team. So yeah, I knew it was going to be a 3D reveal. And also, I knew that the car, the livery, was going to be exactly the same, which it is. And of course, that was a bit of a meme, wasn't it, back last week, of certain F1 YouTubers saying, "Oh, it's the same." Of course, it's the same. Who was it? FB1, WTF1, and Tomo F1 all were like, "Oh, but it's the same car. It's the same car." Of course it's the same car. I mean, of course it's, looks different because it's a 2022 spec, but of course it's the same. That's, that's the colours of the Haas car because of the, the team ownership and all of that. They're, of course backed by a massive Russian, was it millionaire, billionaire, can't remember exactly, but, that's of course why it's going to look the same. And I don't understand why people honestly thought or hoped that maybe it will look different. I just don't get it. What did you want? Instead of the Russian flag, for it to be a Soviet Union flag, red hammer and sickle? I mean, maybe for the memes it would have been funny, but what did you expect? I really don't understand. Yeah, it's the same. Like they said, it is the exact same. So there you go. I will say, though, with Haas F1, because of an ongoing situation in that part of the world, Eastern Europe, which I'm sure you guys have seen in the news, Russia, Ukraine, this team, even if they come out, of course, because they have focused so much on this year, really since the second half of 2020, because their 2021 car was basically the 2020 car, or even maybe the 2019 car. It was just a nothing type car. It was basically just they basically just threw out a car just so they say they competed in the season, but it wasn't really a car that they really put any effort into. And of course they focused so hard on this year of Haas F1, and you would expect, to a certain extent, they would be quicker, or let's say closer to the front of the field. Maybe there'll be a couple positions higher up the pecking order than, last place. Who knows? Hopefully they are. Would be great, especially from Mick Schumacher's point of view, because I want to see him actually race someone other than his dangerous teammate. But like I was saying, with the Russia-Ukraine situation, if there is economic sanctions from certain governments that hit Russia and Russian oligarchs, or just, rich people, I guess you could say, in Russia pretty hard, this team might be in a bit of trouble. Because if those economic sanctions do hit, and they are hard, if Russia, of course, does do what I hope they don't do in terms of Ukraine, yeah, things could get really tough for this team, and it could be, even if Haas do produce a pretty good car, compared to last year, of course, it could be a tough season, and it could be a season where they might be in a bit of a crisis in terms of the financial side. Hopefully, Russia doesn't invade Ukraine. Forgetting, of course, Haas, because, at the end of the day, the whole Russia-Ukraine things are much bigger than Formula One. Hopefully, of course, they don't invade Ukraine from a humanitarian point of view, but from Haas's point of view, of course, they are not wanting that to happen, because if it does, there's a possibility it could get right up to them financially. So yeah, hopefully that does not happen. But of course, this Haas car, like I said, it is pretty much the same. And the final bit of news, which I'm sure you've seen on the bottom ticker there, Lando Norris, I think earlier today, has signed a new contract with his current team, McLaren, and he will stay with the team until 2025. And he was, I think, saying in an interview, a couple interviews surrounding this announcement, I guess you could say, he was saying that he chose to extend his deal despite being approached by other teams, rival teams, and of course they approached him because of how impressive his season was in 2021. So that is a big thing for McLaren, very important as well, because Lando, getting better all the time. He was brilliant in 2021. Still doesn't seem right that he did not win a race last season and Daniel Ricciardo did. Don't get me wrong, Daniel's drive at Monza was a classic drive. It was a really, really great drive by him. But Lando was clearly the better driver at McLaren last season, without a shadow of a doubt. And Lando really did deserve, for his hard work, determination, and just general speed and talent, he deserved at least one race win last season. Of course, he was so close in Russia, didn't get it. Maybe if he was a bit quicker at Monza, then he would have got it there, because McLaren, of course, were very, very quick there, even in the dry, when you would have expected Red Bull, Mercedes to be the top two teams. So yeah, I think, but for Lando, staying at McLaren, I think is the right decision, because McLaren, despite last season, of course, they dropped a position in the Constructors compared to where they were in 2020, it was still I would say, better season than it was in 2020, and then, back obviously in 2019, because they won a race, didn't just win a race, they got a 1-2 finish. Could have won 2 races if Norris had won in Russia. If it stayed dry, he would have won that race, I think. And then, he had a podium in Imola, Monaco, Austria. Could have had one at Silverstone easily. I remember he was running in a podium position for quite a few laps there as well. So, brilliant season for Lando. And because of the progression McLaren have clearly kept making, it makes sense. Because if McLaren keep this progression up and keep making a quicker racing car, then I don't think McLaren are that far away from being at the point of being able to consistently fight for victories and podiums, which they honestly were not that far away from last season. People forget, I think, quite easily how good McLaren were last season, even though they finished 4th in the Constructors. And of course, Ferrari, they were very good last season as well, and in comparison to 2020, and they ended the season, Ferrari, pretty well. But McLaren, for the first 3 quarters of the season, it looked as though McLaren were pretty much a certainty to finish 3rd in the Constructors. And there were quite a few races where McLaren were bridging the gap from the midfield to the top teams. And if we didn't have this new set of regs for this year, and the teams developed all of their cars as much as possible during 2021, I think McLaren probably would have got to the point of being able to have a few more podiums, maybe win another race. So I think it's a smart decision from Lando to stay with McLaren, because, like I said, McLaren are clearly getting better. And I think as long as McLaren can get up to the pace of whoever is the quickest for this season and get onto that front-running pace, then they are absolutely going to be title contenders, because that is all McLaren are missing, I think, from being a championship-winning team. They've got all the pieces. They've got a good, strong leadership core with Zach Brown, Andreas Seidel, good designer, good drivers. Car and team keeps getting better. And like I was saying at the end of last season, all they are missing is a faster car compared to Mercedes and Red Bull. So, absolutely the right decision for Lando to stay at McLaren. And for McLaren, of course, they want to keep him because he is part of their, been part of their team for so long, since he was very, very young. And you never know, if they do make a car quick enough, he could be world champion for McLaren in the not too distant future. So yeah, there you go. Lando Norris extending his time at McLaren. But I think before I go, I'll just re-show these pictures of the Red Bull car for anyone new who has just joined. And not sure if there has been any new comments in chat because my stream, I'm not sure if the chat is actually showing any new comments at the moment. Let me just have a look, because I'm not seeing any new comments now. I don't think comments, that's fine. But yeah, let's just quickly show these Red Bull car pictures before we head off. Again, you can kind of see it there, the bit more of a purpley look to the Red Bull, bit reminiscent of that 2013 Red Bull. And is a rear-facing shot. And again, the main shot, very nice looking car. And then a bit of a higher angle. And then front-facing shot there as well. So there you go, guys. That is your 2022 Red Bull car. Just to let you guys know, I will be live 2 more times this week. I'll be live tomorrow at 2, or probably sometime between 2 and 3 p.m. for the Aston Martin car reveal. The car reveal apparently is at 2 p.m. But like we saw with the Red Bull car reveal, even though they said it was 4 p.m., they didn't reveal it until 4:30. So we'll see about that. So yeah, I'll be live sometime between 2 p.m. and 3 p.m. tomorrow for the Aston Martin car reveal. Then live again, probably sometime between 7 and 8 p.m. for the McLaren car reveal. So don't forget to come along to those streams, guys. And make sure as well to post comments in the comments section. Let me know what you think of the new Red Bull car, how it looks, any new pieces on the car that you see that are different to any, I guess, concept pictures we've seen on the 2022 cars. Let me know in the comment section down below. Also, as well, don't forget to subscribe for more content like this. Bottom right of the screen, you can subscribe right there. Or, again, more content heading your way in 2022. And as well, don't forget to smash the like button and join our Discord server. Link below in the description. But guys, until the Aston Martin car reveal, which is, like I said, tomorrow afternoon between or around 2 p.m. UK time, it has been me, Chazza HD. Goodbye.